I'm going to export out these textures now. So just the same way we exported out textures for the male body, the same way we're going to be exporting out textures also for the garment. So let's start by exporting out just this plaid fabric on the English shirts first. So to do that, we just go to, I'll just come in here, file, export. So the first thing we're going to do is kind of specify the resolution and then specify the directory where we want these files to be saved in, or the textures to be saved in. So you come in here on the output directory and select that. Then I'll pick a folder for it. I'm picking this folder. Then click select folder. Then you have to make sure initially you should have everything checked on like this, but I'm going to uncheck everything, or better still, I'll uncheck just the English shirts and come in here and invert all. So you should have only this selected now. Then the resolution will be on 4K. You can also export this out at 8K resolution, but 4K will be just fine. And I'm going to be using the dilation default background color for this. Then I'll select that English shirt. So the only thing I need, initially you should have everything turned on like this, but the only thing I need is everything else except mix AO, height, and the normal. So I'm going to do like a test render of everything we're exporting now in Marmoset toolbar, kind of visualize how everything is looking before bringing it to Anode and then doing the XGen F for the character. So this is precisely everything I need. Yes, then all you have to do is to click on export. Then you should be done. So I've already exported this out already, so I won't need to export this out again. So we're just going to repeat the same thing for the other. Just going to repeat the same thing for the other garments. I have to make sure the jean, you're also exporting out the jean fabric also. So that's just basically how to export this out. So when you're done with the export, let me just close this file. So let me first do a quick save and then I'll close the file. Then I'm going to open Marmoset toolbar and then try to import all of that in. You click save. Then inside of Maya, we're going to need to export all of this as a single piece. I'm going to export all of this as a single piece. We already have everything set up as we want it to. Everything is set up correctly. If there's any correction to be made, we can easily go into ZBrush and just fix that and then import that back in. That will be completely fine. Whichever one works for you is completely fine. But I've done the main thing, which is doing the textures for this. So let's just do a quick render instead of Marmoset toolbar to kind of visualize everything. So let's see what is in here. So this is everything. So I'll just select this. This is all of it. Then I'm going to come in here to file, export selection. I'm going to be exporting this as everything as FBX. So I need to export everything as FBX for this. So everything should be exported as an FBX file. So let me just export this to the, probably even outside here should be fine. So I'll just copy this. I'll come in here. I'll paste the directory in here. I'll hit enter. Then it should be on dual FBX. Dual FBX should work just fine. Well, except for one thing, I'd like to do one more thing. Yes, there's one more thing I'd like to do first. So I'd like to kind of create some kind of background or studio for this setup. So to do that, I would just create a I think I'll just create, let me just do this on the side view. I hold Ctrl Shift, right click and hold, No. Okay. I want to actually create a new object. So just hold shift and right click and hold. Then I'm creating a cube. So since I'll need to draw the cube, so let me just give this a distance like so. Now come all the way like in here, all the way to the back. Let me get this around here all the way to the back. Now add some height to this. So from the top view, hit F on the keyboard. Let me just kind of get this W to go to the translate tool. Let me just get this around here, roughly around the center, and extend this out a bit more. Okay, F in here, F in here. So we should have something more or less like so. Probably extend this out a bit more. So I'm gonna make sure his feet is just roughly touching, the somewhere around here should be fine. Okay. So what I need to do next to delete this face, so I'll go to face, I'll select this face. So I'll just do a selection like this for now. Then I'll deselect, hold down control and deselect this. So I'm only selecting this front part and the top part. So if you go to our perspective view, should have something more or less like this. Now we can't see it because of the clipping. So the camera clipping, but that won't really be a big issue. So let me just delete this. Okay. This feels just about right for what we need it for. So I'll go to edge mode and select these edges. So I'm gonna bevel this edge. So let me just kind of just make sure this clipping is removed. So I'll go to the perspective camera. The perspective camera, I think this should be either this far clipping or let's see. Let's just put a zero, one more zero in here. Yes, that seems to fix it, to fix the issue. Selecting this again, I'll go back to the edge selection. So these edges have been selected now, so we're going to use the bevel feature for this. Okay, just to make it look more like a studio setup with a bit more rounded edge to it. So let's just add some more segments to it like so. So I'll come in here, just type in a value like 20 should be fine. Now I need to reverse the normal for this. So I'll select all these faces and I'll just do face normal reverse. Okay, this should be fine. So you can see how the foot is just resting on top of this switch. Should be more or less fine. Yeah, this should be more or less fine. Maybe raise this up a bit. Probably not. Let's just leave it the way it is. So now I can export all of this, but before I do, let me just give this a different material and name this studio. Or better still, you can just name this backdrop. I'll do a quick save for this. Okay. Then I believe I should be good enough to begin to move this out and send this to, maybe this is too wide. Let's get this around here like so. Okay, yeah, this seems more or less fine. Okay, so Yes, I need to give this a separate material. So favorites, Lambert. I will just give this or name this to, let's do clear back, delete by type history. Then I will just delete by type history this button here. And I will just name this to backdrop. Right. That should be fine. Yes, it should work just fine. Okay. Right. So I'll just select these two now. Then I'm supposed to just go to export selection. Export selection should be on dual FBX. I'll just replace that file path again. Then name this to Africa mail complete, or rather LBX. Let me just put complete in front. Probably comp should be fine. Okay, then just put complete. Since I'm saving this as FBX, the prefix should be FBX at the end. So African mail complete. So I'll do an export for this. So I'll just give this a moment to load. Give this a moment to load. And I'll come back when this is done. So it's already done exporting. So I'll just open up Marmoset toolbar and then bring that in. Marmoset toolbar is already opening up in here already. So let's import in what we have exported. So it should be this dual complete, African mail complete. So let me just drag and drop this in here. Okay. Let me just give this a moment to load. And I'm going to be using the, where's is it now? I'm going to be using, okay, this on full quality. I'm going to be using the same, probably the same light setup from Marmoset, from Substance Painter instead. So I'll come here to this sky, I'll duplicate this sky. Let's see, I want to check something in here. Okay, different kind of cameras in here. So I'm just going to duplicate this sky, so Control D for this. Then I'm going to use the same HDRI from Marmoset, from Substance Painter rather. So I'll go to local disks, should be on program files. Then should be on allegrometric. So Substance Painter resources shelf, allegrometric, environments, exterior. So we can either use this panorama or this Mandarin 3. So let's try, let's copy this 5 parts instead. So on this sky 1, let me open this up. So I want to import dimes. I don't know if I copied the 5 part already, so let me just, where is it? Copy these 5 parts, paste this in here. Okay, then I can just start with this. Let's start with this panorama. Okay, so right off the bat we have something like this. I can easily rotate this. So another thing I like to do is to kind of adjust the camera settings, kind of make sure we're using the same camera settings just like in Marmoset or just like in Maya and ZBrush. So on the focal lens, this 28 should be on 85mm lens. Okay, so now with this at 85mm lens, let me just do a quick save. Let me do a quick save for this file. So I'll save this here. Save this here. Let me just name this to African male 2 bag. Okay, so that has been completely saved. I believe everything is working the way it should. So come into this render, you can turn on the ray tracing for this. So use ray tracing. So that should kind of give us a more realistic result to it. Okay. Right. So can we change our light source a bit more? Something like this looks interesting. You can also create default lighting here if we want to. Let me just find a good light setup for this. You can also set up lights. You can also set up light blockers for this. For example, if we come in here to the scene, I think we can add an object in here. Supposed to be somewhere you can add objects. I think there should be some objects in here. Okay. I saw somewhere where I was able to add objects to this. Add lights, shadow. Strange. I think I'll need to kind of just import a regular plane in here. And just import a plane. So let's just create a plane. So I'll do this from the top view. Something like this should be fine. Okay, plane. So I'll just export this out. I'll export this out as objects plane. Then back to Marmoset toolbar, I can just bring this in here. I think yes, plane. So let me just drag and drop this in here. So this should act like some kind of light blocker. Okay. Just center pivot on this. Center pivot doesn't seem to be working. Edit pivot. Okay. So we can obviously use this as some kind of light blocker. I think I reduce the size way too much. Like so. But let me just kind of establish where I want the lighting to be, where I want the shadows to be casting from. There's something like this. Then I can rotate. Oops, I'm doing this too much. Let me just rotate this like so. Also like so. Now this might not be completely necessary though. I'm just trying to show you guys the various ways you can manipulate the lights or manipulate the objects in your scene to kind of create some kind of control over where you want the light to be more affected. It's not there yet. Let me put this to draft quality. This seems to be disappearing from the edge. That seems to be disappearing from the edge. And I will not want this to cast. Is there a way to change this, modify this not to cast any shadow? Let's see if there's a way to make this not cast any shadow. I can't see any settings in here. There's no setting in here to kind of make this. Okay, I've seen it, cast shadow, so turn it off. It seems to have completely disappeared. Okay. We do something more or less like so. Then I'll put this on draft quality. The draft quality is definitely terrible though, so let me just use the other light instead for this. So now I can easily set up our materials on this. So let's see. Let's start with the male head. Should be the skin. So let's see. It should be the skin. So let's see. Yeah, that's definitely the skin.